Coimbra. Located along the Mondego River, Coimbra is the former medieval capital of Portugal and home to plenty of Romanesque architecture and one of the oldest universities in Europe. These days, though, it's also known as a safe, quiet, relaxed city that foreigners love to live in. Although Coimbra is located just 2 hours by train from both Porto and Lisbon, you might never want to leave. Coimbra scores high on the Nomad list as a great city to live and work in, with fast internet, friendly people, and an English-speaking population. The only downside is that it can be expensive to live there compared with the rest of the country, with a cost of living that can reach $5,000 per month. Next up is the port city of Setúbal, which has become very popular among expats in recent years for its proximity to Lisbon, but with a lower cost of living. Setúbal has yet to be fully discovered, so it still has an authentic feel. It's known for its fresh seafood, beautiful beaches, and affordable rent prices at about 10 to 25% lower than Lisbon. It's also home to the Livramento market, voted the best market in Europe and which dates back to 1876. So if you want to live near Lisbon, but also save money and have a more authentic local lifestyle, definitely check out Setúbal. Next up, in number 8 on our list, in the north of Portugal, just over the border of Spain, we have Braga. So the farther north or the farther inland you go in Portugal, that usually comes with a lower cost of living, and Braga is no exception. The rent prices in Braga can be 30 to 40% lower than Lisbon, with a furnished one-bedroom in the city center going for as low as €500 per month. Braga is one of the oldest cities in Portugal, founded in 16 BC. But being the third largest city in the country, it's also quite developed and modern with a growing tech scene. So if you love history and architecture, but still mixed with a dose of modern day life, Braga could be for you. Now we are going to head down the Silver Coast to Nazaré on the Costa da Prata. Nazaré is in a unique spot because it's centrally located between Lisbon and Porto, best of both worlds. And like much of Portugal, Nazaré has a pretty moderate and sunny climate, except in December when it can get a bit rainy. Buying real estate in this area starts at around 70 or 80,000 euro for an apartment, while a home can cost you between 250,000 and 1 million. So if you're the kind of person who's interested in surfing, golfing, or a more relaxed pace of life, definitely give the Costa da Prata a look, but try to brush up on your Portuguese before you get there so you can blend in more with the locals. Next up, we have the charming town of Ponta Delgada in the majestic Azores Islands. Ponta Delgada is the capital of this archipelago of volcanic islands located 850 miles west of Lisbon. This place has been on my bucket list for years now, and it's time to put it on yours too. If you want to live and work from paradise in a place that looks like Ireland and New Zealand had a baby in Jurassic Park, then definitely take a closer look at the Azores. You'll also be happy to know that it has a low cost of living at around 1,500 euro per month, with rent prices 40% lower than Lisbon. If you move to Ponta Delgada, you can work at the One Solmar Business Center for only 80 euro per month and enjoy 200 megabits per second internet speeds with a view of the beautiful harbor. So when you leave the office for the day, you can add whale watching or kayaking to your to-do list and enjoy the sunset. Halfway through our list now, we have the Algarve on the southern coastline of Portugal, home to more than 100,000 expats. Algarve is an extremely popular region for foreigners to live in for its beautiful beaches and scenery, safe surroundings, and because it's so easy to get around speaking English. The top places to live in the Algarve are Lagos, Faro, Albufeira, and Portimão. Lagos is one of Portugal's most popular destinations, and it honestly looks like a postcard. The jagged cliffs and clear blue water kind of remind me of Gozo and Malta, except much bigger and with many more amenities. Albufeira, on the other hand, is known for its nightlife and shopping, while Faro offers something for everyone as it's the capital of the region, and it's particularly known for having a good healthcare system and infrastructure, plus an international airport. Meanwhile, Portimão is the second largest city after Faro, but even though it still only has about 55,000 residents, it still packs a punch when it comes to amenities, infrastructure, and proximity to beaches like Praia da Roca and Praia do Val, just 10 minutes away. The only problem with the Algarve is that it can get pretty crowded with tourists in the summer. Sometimes the population triples. So keep that in mind, but it's still worth checking out. Fourth on our list, we have Porto, a favorite among digital nomads and expats. Porto, the home of port wine, is a great alternative to living in Lisbon with many of the same amenities, but a slower pace of life. It's also stunningly gorgeous and just happens to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The third place on our list is the autonomous region of the Madeira Islands, named the best island destination in Europe for 7 years running, and the new home of the digital nomad village. Although the Madeira Islands are quite isolated, about 350 miles out into the Atlantic off the coast of Morocco, they're really a great place for foreigners to live and work because there's a wide range of accommodation options there, multiple co-working spaces, a startup incubator, and plenty of things to do in your free time. If you're a fan of outdoor activities like surfing, hiking, swimming, and diving, the Madeira Islands could be the right place for you. In second place, we have arrived at Portugal's capital city of Lisbon, with its miles of sparkling shoreline and cosmopolitan city lifestyle. The hype around living in Lisbon is real, people. Internations ranked Lisbon as the number 3 city for expats to live in Europe, and with an expat approval rating between 82% and 96%, foreigners simply love making Lisbon their home base. There are at least 84 co-working spaces in Lisbon too, so no shortage of places to work from or meet people, and there are a lot of different neighborhoods to choose from. So some of the top neighborhoods to live in include Chiado and Barrio Alto in the city center, and also Príncipe Real just inland from the waterfront. The historic area of Alfama is really nice too, but it can be a bit touristy in my opinion. And if you like a house with a view, I mean, who doesn't? You'll want to check out the Graça area. Alcantara to the west is also an up-and-coming area near the LX factory, which is a super cool place to shop and hang out and eat with friends. And then down the road, Belém is also a good option near the beautiful Tower of Belém. When it comes to living in Lisbon, basically the farther out you go, the cheaper and less crowded it gets. When I was living in Lisbon in 2018, I stayed near the Parque Eduardo VII, which was far enough from the downtown core that it was quieter, but without compromising the amenities or Lisbon lifestyle. I really liked it there, and I also felt super safe just walking around and exploring. So although it can be hard to find housing in Lisbon compared to other areas of Portugal, I recommend checking out some of the suburbs around the city so that you can shop around and get the most bang for your buck. And if you're interested in living in the greater Lisbon metropolitan area, make sure to check out some of the surrounding towns and neighborhoods, like Cascais, for example, a super popular surf town that's also known as the Portuguese Riviera. And then another popular destination near Lisbon is the fairy tale city of Sintra, located just about 30 minutes away. Sintra is stunningly beautiful, full of trees, castles, and these panoramic vistas. I mean, walking through Sintra truly feels like you stepped into a fairy tale. It's completely surreal, but just keep in mind though that Sintra has its own microclimate, which can be a bit cooler, foggier, and rainier than Lisbon. So when you're looking for housing in Lisbon, you'll also want to consider the municipality of Almada to the south, where you can find lower rent prices, up to 30% less, and still be just over the river from Lisbon's city center. The number 1 destination on our list is Ericeira. Ericeira is the hottest digital nomad destination in Portugal right now, ranking high in all the categories on the Nomad List Index. One nomad describes it as the Canggu of Europe, complete with a surf culture vibe. It's a walkable city with a small town vibe and a close-knit community that expats really love. The cost of living in Ericeira is pretty low as well, at only $1,000 or $2,000 per month, with furnished studios and one-bedroom flats available from just €500 to €600. There are also plenty of amazing restaurants and cafes, and it's only 45 minutes from Lisbon.